Do you mind sharing a little bit what's your experience at the border now?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, first of all, thank you for all the comments that I see below. It's really nice to receive support of people. So the situation, I think it's getting more organized on the borders, because I think first few days it was a complete mess. And I mean, in a sense that of course people weren't ready, people on borders, right, weren't ready that there would be like a lot of Ukrainians wanting to cross the borders, because as far as we know, already around 600,000 of people left Ukraine. So I know that a lot of people cross the border by feet. So it took them a few days of standing in lines and walking. We were really, really lucky because we took the train to Lviv, which is in the west of Ukraine. And then we got the train from Lviv to Poland. So we were in a train. We didn't have to walk and nothing like this. And we weren't outside, you know, because it's pretty cold. As you see, I'm like fully enclosed. So we were lucky enough. So it took us only, I think, 4 or 5 hours on the train, and we were already in Poland. So first, of course, a lot of women with children. So they led them first inside of the of trains and whatever. And as far as I know, there are also a lot of foreigners, male foreigners inside of our country. Right. So I'm not sure if they let these people inside trains. As far as I know, they let males, foreigners inside. Yeah, they let males, foreigners inside of buses. But then the information was that they have like a separate place in the train for males, foreigners, so they can escape the country. Of course, for men, it's impossible to escape the country. Even more, as far as I know, from I think yesterday or so on, men from 18 till 60, they can't even escape the region, because there are some regions that need kind of a protection. Right. Although, for instance, I lived in, or if I can still say it, I live in Kiev, and I know that we have this territorial defense, and within the first few days, we had so many people who wanted to join that it was like too much. So a lot of people were sent back home.
Oh, but I guess it's not the case anymore. I guess now it's the other way around. They need more and more people to join rather than there are too many people joining.
Yeah, but also I know that I don't remember the exact number. I'm sorry, like so much information, you know, so many numbers. Around 60 or 80,000 people came back to Ukraine to protect the country. I also personally know some people who appeared to be abroad when the war started, and they were like, "Oh my God, I wish I was at home and I could do something," because that's you know, says a lot about Ukrainians that want to protect the country. Because who else, if we won't do that? In the beginning, when there were only talks about that the war is going to happen, I also received a lot of messages from my foreign friends, as I'm a tour guide, right? So I have a lot of friends from abroad, and some of them told me like, it will never happen, you know, the war won't start, and so on. So at that point, we were hoping for more support from other countries, because at that point we were only talking about NATO and so on. But now what we see is it's amazing. So many countries supported us, and even so many small organizations, they you know, couldn't do much, but they wanted to do at least something, and they did that. And it's amazing, you know, the way the world unites, you know, to fight against such evil as Russia and Putin. Yes, it's amazing. And hopefully, you know, because at that point we think that nothing will stop Putin again except like Russians. I don't want to say that, because I mean, for so many days we're kind of stopping him, right? But I mean that talking about, for instance, nuclear weapon that he threatens the whole world he will use. I think that it's only up to his generals or someone from the closest circle, right, who can at the exact time who can say like, I won't do that because you're crazy. It's going to kill so many people and so on. So it turns like this, and that's why, yes, all the sanctions, we hope they will really help Russian people to understand that what is going on is it's not right, because there is still a very big propaganda. And I personally know some people from Russia, or I see some comments that they say that we have what we have because of what we did to people in the eastern part of Ukraine, in Donetsk and Lugansk in 2013, 2014. So they also blame us for that. Meanwhile, I want to say once again that we didn't do anything to these people. We were protecting them. At that time, right, Russians also invaded our country, right? And they said that they are going to protect people from Ukrainians. They call us Nazis. Right now, they say that I don't want to divide people by different like things, but we have a president who is Jewish. And so, right, so Putin basically says that Jewish is ahead of the Nazis' army, which is like, this is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
It's funny in a way it can be.
Yeah. So you speak a little bit about Russian. So I would like to ask you that I assume you also got some Russian friends before the war. So I mean, you talk about the Russian in Russia. You know, what's their view? So I mean, what about any of your Russian friends? You know, what do they think? You know, in Ukraine or maybe in Russia, what do they think about this?
So first of all, I have friends also like Russians who live in Ukraine, and they are like they can't believe what is happening, first of all. Yeah. And second of all, they speak to their relatives, to their friends in Russia, and some of these relatives, they don't believe that they're talking, like that they're speaking the truth. So they don't believe, they prefer to believe the TV or whatever, rather than to believe their own like children or friends or relatives. Can you imagine? So, and also what we were talking a lot about within the past days, that some people in Russia, they all have this, they have all the sanctions, right? So they're like, oh my God, I can use my card. I can pay for this and for that, because a lot of cards are,
but they don't know the reason.
Working there.
They cannot use the card, but they don't know the reason.
They kind of know the reason, but they think that it's our fault, you know? So they say it's our fault anyway. So they don't, even in this case, they don't understand that it is because what they did, you know? So yeah, and they can go to Europe and they're complaining that they can't do that. And we're like, really? Our family, like my parents are in here right now, and they are sleep, like they sometimes go to the bomb shelter, but they usually sleep in the hall of our apartment, and they hear all the signs of shelling the city. And some Russian people, they say that, oh my God, I can pay for this and for that. Really? A lot of people died, and they think that they are suffering right now.
So it looks like there is a Russian war, just like in China.
Yeah, you know.
Like the internet.
Yeah, I know. I know that you had also, like, you've been suffering a lot. When I had tours, when I gave tours in Kiev, we had a lot of people from Hong Kong as well, and they joined our revolution tour. We were talking a lot about the Euromaidan revolution, and seemed like people really could, you know, understand what we were, what we went through.
You mentioned about your family. So how is your parents? Are they in Kiev, or where are they now? What they're doing these days?
Yeah, so it makes me feel so sad, because I never wanted to leave them, and so they're in Kiev, and they are staying at home. So my father is 73 years old, and my mother is 65 years old. And yeah, I'm trying not to cry about it every time I come to this. So, and my parents, they told me from the very beginning, like, we're not going to leave. So I said that I'm not going to live without you. And we were staying in Kiev for like a day and a half. And then I have sister and she has a son. He's 4 years old. So my mother told me that someone can take them away to the village pretty far from Kiev, so they will be safe. And my mother asked these people to take me as well. And of course I didn't want to go, but then my mother kind of pushed me in the car. And so my parents refused to go like in any possible way. I was asking them like, maybe I can organize a transport or something like this so you can run away. But no, but I feel that they feel so much better knowing that we, like me and my sister, escaped. And, you know, they're like kind of old. So I understand that it's very hard for them to go anywhere, in a sense that everything that they have is in Kiev. So they don't have, like, we don't have relatives that we can go to like somewhere in the West, right? So, and we didn't have a car. That was the problem. So a lot of people who had cars, they went easily, you know, when everything just happened. So right now, yes, they're in Kiev, and I also have people in Kharkiv, people that I know. And I don't know if you know, but Kharkiv is in the east of the country, and it's pretty close to the region where we had, yeah, thank you so much for the support below, where we had like the war since 2014, right? So I don't know how they handle themselves, because in Kharkiv as well as in Kiev, it's crazy. I think in Kharkiv it's even worse. Like I'm sure you probably have seen some videos of like how a lot of buildings were just destroyed, and they were shelling like parts of the city where people live, like just, you know, population.
Even shelling the residential buildings, I saw.
Yes. So I'm in contact with a lady from that region, and yeah, I see a comment. I can check in with my parents. Thank God we have the connection. And by the way, I don't know if you heard that even Elon Musk sent Starlink to Ukraine.
Yeah,
so it
someone
means
was asking
that
what Starlink's UK.
So thank God we have the connection. There are some regions in Ukraine in the east where people are suffering. They don't have a connection. They are in bomb shelters, for some of them for like already maybe 5 days or so. So that's why we are asking the Red Cross to help us to organize the green, I don't know how to call it, like a hall or corridor, right? So people can just get out of that part, because the whole like cities destroyed, villages destroyed, and people are just in bomb shelters for a really long time. So it's a disaster, you know, it's a disaster. People are just suffering there.
I think that it is very, very overwhelming. I'm flooded with, you know, 200 questions in front of me now. So we have start with like your first personal questions. Do you have a place to stay? You know, what is your plan in Poland now?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I run away. I don't want to use this word because I feel so bad by saying that I run away. I don't know. As Ukrainian, I feel that I had to stay there and to help in any possible way. But I know that, guys, it's the worst thing that I've experienced. I have never thought how awful that is, to wake up and hear all this, you know, sounds of like weapons in the sky. It's awful. So I stayed in Kiev for a day and a half, and I don't know, I couldn't manage myself, you know. I was like taking medicines and so on to calm myself down. So I understand that I won't be able to be as brave as our soldiers and other people to go out and you know, fight for something. So my original plan was
this choice.
Yeah, you know, it's awful. So I thought that maybe I can get out and help in some way, and I thought that I can help like to spread information like right now, you know, and like with you. And also I have this Free Tours Kiev page where I also share information. So I have, as I told you, I'm a tour guide, so I have a lot of friends from abroad, and one of my friends invited me to Amsterdam. So that was my original plan. First of all, somehow to get out of the country and then to go to Amsterdam. So today I have a flight to Amsterdam, so I'm fine. A lot of people are helping. It's amazing. We're in Poland right now, and they are so welcoming, like unbelievably. You know, they provide food, they provide accommodation, like everything that you need. They help you. And by the way, it's free to take the train and I think buses in Poland if you're Ukrainian. So it's great because of course a lot of people weren't ready, you know, to like they didn't have a lot of money or enough of money to get out of the country, of course. So it really helps. So a lot of people are providing help. So my plan is to go to Amsterdam.
So, I mean, yeah, again, first of all, you know, nobody in Ukraine should be making a choice whether they should leave or stay. You know, it's not the fault, you know, or not anything to blame or anything. So you shouldn't feel bad about this. But and what you're doing now is tremendous. You know, it's actually helping more people to know exactly what's going on rather than, you know, reading whatever official is the news there. So I'm sure, you know, many people in here would probably, other than myself, would continue want to speak to you or offer helps as we need it. So I see so many informations, you know, just now already. So I think there are a few questions that I got. So it's about, you know, the actual day-to-day life in Ukraine, maybe when you were there or when you know, when you see people there. So do you see that people were looting, or were there a lot of crimes over there, or, you know, or the Ukrainians are pretty organized, you know, or, you know, the crime was actually from somewhere else?
You know, I should say that we have a lot of saboteurs in the city. So I think that they do some crimes, like, and it's so strange for me, like these people, they might be, first of all, Ukrainians who live in the country, right? We had an information that a lot of Russian people came to Kiev like a week, 2 weeks before the war started. So they were living among us. And then what they did, for instance, they put marks on different buildings, on like roofs of buildings, or on roads and whatever. So their military forces will see where they need to, you know, like send a bomb or something. I'm still really bad at military, when talking about military things. I'm sorry, but you understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, that's why they had to destroy somehow all these marks, and so they won't be, you know, helpful for Russian soldiers. So what I saw when the war started, it was like around 6 a.m. in the morning when we woke up from all the sounds, and someone called my mother. So we realized that the worst thing happened. And so for the first like few hours, we were just sitting and of course watching news 24/7. And then I was like, maybe I need to go to the store to buy something. My mother said, like, don't panic, you know, we don't need to panic, because that's the worst thing that like you can do, you know, if you can't do anything. And we had just to wait for the information, you don't have to panic. But then we went to the store, and all the people, I was surprised. First of all, I saw, while I was still at home, I saw people walking their dogs, you know, like doing their typical things. Yeah, and then we went to the store, and we saw people who were really organized, like no panic, nothing like this. And as far as I know, still it's still okay. They were afraid that some people might use the situation that a lot of people went away from the city and they will try to steal something from apartments and so on. But as far as I know, for right now, it's okay. Although, yes, we have the saboteurs, and other people are trying to catch them. By the way, it can be pretty easy to recognize whether you are Ukrainian or Russian by asking something in Ukrainian, something that only Ukrainian can know, or by if you will ask how to pronunciate different words, because there are some words that, believe me, you will hear that the person doesn't know Ukrainian. Even if we're talking about people who live in Ukraine and people who use Russian language, they will be able to manage to say something in Ukrainian, but Russians, they won't. Or, you know, we that's what people actually are doing. Or we ask things like lines from different songs that Ukrainians only know. So that's how people can, you know, understand.
And I actually see photos where the Ukrainian would tie up the Russians in like a light pole or something, right?
Yeah, it's not more like Russians, but those people who are is there a word in English like marauders or something like this? So these people who are trying to steal something from the apartments. So that's what they do, not with Russians necessarily, although maybe they're Russians, but not necessarily, but with people who just try to steal something from stores or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if you have seen videos of local like just civilians trying to stop tanks and so on.
Like, we saw that. Yeah, we saw many. I actually saw many videos like that. It's crazy. That is the definition of bravery.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It really helps, you know, during that time. It really helps to see people doing this.
So what about the daily supplies? You know, do you guys, you know, is this the countries have enough daily supplies? You know, food and you know the necessities every day. So are they getting it from somewhere?
Yes, everything is okay. You can always buy bread, but you can manage. I mean, there was a time when it was forbidden to get out in Kiev. It was forbidden to get out of the city for like a day and a half or 2 days. So then, of course, first thing that people did, they went to store to buy something and they couldn't see the bread, and some people started panicking. But it was only because people didn't have enough of time to bring everything, because they were also sitting at home, right? So, but later that day, it was okay. But in some regions, like I mentioned before, like I think in Kharkiv, it can be pretty hard. Yeah, Putin didn't expect such resistance. That's definitely true. In some other cities, it can be hard just because it's hard to go outside. Maybe you saw video of people who were killed in Kharkiv during the day. So they were just walking to buy water, and there were like dead people laying with bottles of water in their hands. So. But in general, it's pretty okay. But in some places, as I told you, we ask the Red Cross to help us to organize this green way for these people to escape.